Cartel for the Middletown Knights, number 84 on the bottom of that pile. And there were lots of Middletown players that got a piece of that ball carrier.
So the Cougars are in punt formation. High snap. Kick unleashed by Vince Reaver, and a fair catch called for by the Knights. That's Jack O'Leary. So Middletown will have it in good operating position at their own 41-yard line. Middletown 2-0 on the year. They defeated TJ in the first game of the year. Last week they blasted FSK 45-6. They'll try to make it 3 in a row this season. Their quarterback is Chris Anderson, who, as Jay mentioned in the pregame, leads the area in passing. Last week had 137 yards on 8 of 15 against FSK. And on the ground on the first play, that's Ryan Walt, a junior, 5'10", 150-pounder, a couple yards off the right side.
Walt, one of the small players out on the field for
not many of them.
Middletown right now, because they have some size, in particular in that offensive line. We mentioned in the pregame the importance of that big offensive line, and they do it very, very well for the Knights.
There you see Anderson, number 9. Brooks Moser, the leading receiver in the county, goes to the left side of the line. On the ground again. Tough Catoctin defense, preventing a sizable gain on that one. Just a couple of yards for Josh Keeney, who had 160 yards rushing last week and 102 in week 1. So 262 yards on the season for Keeney, and the Cougars stop him for just a couple there. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Yeah, Keeney has really come out of the gate strong this year for Middletown. That was a nice effort that time by Catoctin. 52, Brandon Jessup in on that tackle, along with some blue-shirted Cougar friends. Sets up the 3rd down play for the Knights.
We'll see if they go to the air with Moser and O'Leary as the receivers. They'll keep it on the ground. 1st down run and a lot more. Headed for pay dirt is Keeney. 10, touchdown. Josh Keeney. A gaping hole, and he ran right through it. 53 yards for a touchdown. Middletown leads 6-0.
Well, the area's top rusher just increased his lead on a terrific run off the right side, and Josh gets credit for the score, but it's that offensive line on the right side. Number 72, Ryan Cutsale, and 65, Josh Wolf, opening up some big holes to the right for Josh Keeney.
Jack O'Leary on to try the extra point. So on the 3rd play from scrimmage, Middletown has a touchdown. And O'Leary's point makes it 7-0 with 9:11 remaining first quarter. So Middletown off to a great start. Catoctin last week lost 20-19 to Williamsport after winning their opening game, and Catoctin had the lead in the 4th quarter, but had a block punt, made a couple of other mistakes late in the 4th quarter, and ended up losing by just 1 point. So if not for a couple of mistakes in the 4th quarter, Catoctin could have been 2-0 coming into this game as well.
Well, they had put themselves in position to win, that's for sure, but they just weren't able to complete it for the entire game, and they even their record at 1-1. Doug Williams' teams each year probably, they certainly don't have the numbers, Jeff, although interestingly enough this year, one of the bigger years in terms of turnout. I think they had like 73, 75 kids come out, almost considered running 3 teams, which they rarely are able to do here, but settle for just having the 2 teams. Just watch that. Here's the end of Keeney's run off the right side, and again, Josh gets the 7 points, but credit the offensive line for some terrific work.
Keeney started out the year as a fullback and has since moved to tailback, and you can see why. He's got some speed. Short kick, taken at the 15-yard line. This is Nesbitt, and he's drilled by Will Gawler. So Nesbitt took it across the 25, and Catoctin will have it right at the 25-yard line for their 2nd possession. See if they can get something going offensively. They were 3 and out on their first series.
Well, just to finish that thought on the Cougars, they may not have numbers, and they may not always have the numbers of skill players that other schools do, but it's tough to measure heart. And these kids have a huge heart up here, and they're very hard workers and very determined.
The pitch to Thompson. He's got blockers in front. And Jarrell Thompson carries for about 3 yards. So they haven't even given the ball to Quinn Williams yet.
Well, that might be part of the strategy, is try to get Thompson going and into the game and give Middletown somebody else to think about. You know they're keying on Quinn. So if they can get Jarrell Thompson going, that might help out in terms of getting Williams some yardage, and of course Ryan Nesbitt as well is a very talented running back.
So it'll be 2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard gain by Thompson. He's carried the ball 3 times. 3 of the 4 plays other than the punt.
Notice that most of those plays, Jeff, have gone outside, not going up against that big Middletown defensive line.
Well, that's Quinn Williams' strength inside. This is Quinn Williams, and you can see how stiff the Middletown defense is. Maybe a yard on the gain for Quinn Williams, but no more. And Quinn's a big, tough kid, very strong.
Very, very tough kid, a determined runner. He's again gotten off to a very good start this year on the ground, 188 yards in the 2 contests that Catoctin has played. But tonight will be a supreme challenge for all these Cougar running backs.
3rd down and 5 for the Cougars. They've gone to the air only once. Adelsberger unleashes the pass intended for number 9, Sam Kolcheski, incomplete. 4th down, Catoctin will have to punt.
Well, it's pretty tough when you're a team that likes to run the ball and wants to run the ball, as Catoctin does. If you find yourself in 3rd and long situations, which they have both times here this evening on their 2 possessions, forces you to pass, and that's something that they would like to stay away from. Pretty good kick.
Punt. O'Leary chased back to the 35. Trying to get outside, and he's taken down by Nesbitt and company just across the 50-yard line. So a 16-yard return by Jack O'Leary. The Middletown offense is back on the field. They lead 7-0. First quarter action, 8:07 remaining. Took Middletown only 3 plays to score the first time. Drive culminated in a 53-yard touchdown run by Josh Keeney. Keeney's the tailback. Anderson looks to throw. Completes it to Brooks Moser inside the 40. And he pushes his way down to the 31-yard line. So a gain of 17 yards for Brooks Moser on the pass play from Anderson.
Very nicely executed by the Knights. As we talked about early on, Chris Anderson's got a strong and very accurate arm. He's going to get time to throw, Jeff, behind this huge offensive line. And when you have targets such as Moser and Jack O'Leary, you have a real nice formula and chance for success.
First down, a new set of downs for the Knights. Anderson with the handoff to Keeney. Big hole off the left side. Cuts it back. And he rams in to a Cougar, Justin Adelsberger, inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Knights.
Well, again, Keeney just getting yards in chunks here, but it's because the offensive line for Middletown is just bowling over people. The left side of that line, Terry Palmer, Brian DeMoss that time really clearing house.
So Keeney now with 3 carries, 79 yards after that 25-yard run. Roll out by Anderson. Across his body, throws to Moser, incomplete. There's a penalty marker down.
Well, let's see which way it goes. The officials are conferring, and we got a hold against Middletown, so Cougars will probably push the ball back, I would think.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Actually, that time Anderson doing what's kind of tough for a right-handed quarterback, which is to roll left and throw against your body. And you really had a couple of receivers open, but wouldn't have made any difference because of the hold against the Knights.
So now it'll be 1st and goal from the 17.
But Jeff, again, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but when you look at the offensive line for Middletown, Terry Palmer at 270, Brian DeMoss at 240, Josh Wolf at 225. Ryan Cutsale, just a baby, at 215. And of course, Godwin, when he's in there, is huge at 275. So lots of big guys on the OL for Middletown.
The ball at the 24. Big penalty there, 10 yards from the spot. This is Harshman up the middle, fighting for extra yards. And Harshman twists his way back inside the 15.
I like Harshman. We talked about it, his play defensively, and he's a very big hitter, but he's also quite capable on the offensive side of the ball and does a real nice job running the football for Middletown.
So it'll be 2nd down and goal. That penalty really took them a lot further away from the goal line than they were. They did have a 1st and goal at the 7. Anderson, look out, he's hit by Nesbitt, fumble, and Middletown has recovered. The recovery made by number 61, Terry Palmer, but Nesbitt with a big hit. Ball marked at the 20-yard line.
Well, the Knights fortunate that time to maintain possession as Ryan Nesbitt came in and really got Anderson from behind, coughed the ball up, but Middletown alertly falls on it, so sets up a 3rd down and quite a ways to the goal.
3rd and goal from the 20. Nesbitt again nails him back at the 27-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Where's the left tackle?
Maybe we're talking about the effectiveness of the Middletown Knights offensive line, but Catoctin's not buying it, and certainly Nesbitt's not buying it. As 2 straight plays, he blitzes and makes Chris Anderson pay.
Nobody blocked Nesbitt on the last 2 plays.
And again, he just blows by from the outside. Nobody back. Nobody back to defend and to ward off any rushers.
So it'll be 4th down, and Chris Anderson is in punt formation.
Remember, he's the quarterback. If you're going to,
he'll kick it, angle it to the sideline to try to put Catoctin back close to the goal, and it goes out of bounds at the 13. So a 14-yard punt, so they play the game of field position.
well, Jeff, that's a pretty big series for Catoctin, and that penalty really played a big role in it. As you mentioned, I think Middletown was what, 1st and goal from
First and goal at the 7-yard
line. Ended up having to punt the ball, so good effort by the Cougars. Let's see if they can make something out of it now.
7-0 Middletown leads here in the 1st quarter. Pitch to Nesbitt. And he gets a couple straight ahead. Nesbitt is the backup quarterback, so he could throw the ball after a pitch.
Ryan Lewis from his defensive backfield position in on that stop. You know, one of the few things that Middletown has not done well in the early going of the season, they've had, particularly against FSK last week, the propensity to give up some big plays. Now, those plays came back because of penalties,
right.
But, you know, Catoctin is probably much aware of that and knows that if they can get past that first wave of defenders, they have a chance to pick up some big yardage.
Still with the ball is Adelsberger. He fires deep, wide open, Nesbitt across midfield to the 40, 30. Inside the 20, he's finally lassoed by John Boyle. And there's the big play you were just talking about. Ryan Nesbitt from Justin Adelsberger.
Well, let me you know, polish off my crystal ball here, Jeffrey. You know, just lucky, folks. But big plays have plagued the Knights, and here was a huge play by the Catoctin Cougars. Again, you look for them to run the football, but Justin Adelsberger had shown a pretty strong arm on the 2nd series, and this time shows a great arm, and certainly Nesbitt with his speed gets behind the secondary, and then it's just a foot race. Ryan Nesbitt quick, number 4, John Boyle chases him down, but not before a big gain.
That was 64 yards. Straight ahead.
And look where the ball
6 yards
is.
on the play for Quinn Williams. What did you call this? The ant play or something last year?
Please don't drag up any of those things. I never know what I'm going to say from 1 minute to the next, Jeffrey. But
so you've got new material.
We'll have to work on some. But these, you have to love the Catoctin Cougars because they just grit you out. You know, they have so much guts and and determination. They're just a great bunch of kids.
They have it at the 13. And stuffed this time. Nesbitt nowhere to go. He'll lose a yard or two. The ball back at the 15-yard line as the tackle was made by Matt Staub.
I think we called it the ant attack. I'm not sure, but you really love, and I think Doug, and of course we were lucky enough last week to have Paul DeMars, his assistant coach, one of his assistant coaches, along with Jim Eckenrode on the show, and Quinn Williams was there, and Boyd and Nesbitt, just great kids, and a super program up here.
Third down. The pitch to Nesbitt. He's got blockers in front, but there are a lot of white shirts there. He's back to the 13-yard line, so he got the 2 back that he lost on the previous play, but it'll be 4th down, and still about 5 to go with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Middletown leading 7-0.
I don't know if Catoctin has a place kicker. It doesn't look like they do, because Adelsberger's looking to the side for the play to come in, so looks like the Cougars will go for it on 4th down and try to keep those chains moving and keep this drive moving. They're taking a lot of time out there too. They don't want to lose 5 yards in this very important down.
So the Cougars need to get the play off quickly. Nesbitt nowhere to go. Middletown will take over on downs.
That play sort of looked doomed from the get-go, didn't it, Jeff? There was a little indecision in getting it in, and then very close to not getting it off in time, and unfortunately for the Cats, just not able to execute. So credit Middletown for coming up with a big defensive series, as it appeared Catoctin was moving, did move the football all the way down the length of the field, but just couldn't get it into the end zone.
So Middletown takes over again. Just under 2 minutes to play first quarter.
See if the Knights want to strike right back, or we're going to grind it out.
Josh Keeney breaks free. Keeney runs into Adelsberger and rams him backwards at the 27-yard line. A first down run, or very close to a first down. And now the officials say, yes, move the chains.
I believe Josh Keeney is part of the football Keeney family, which is synonymous. Bing Keeney, I think, is a grandfather, or there's a lot of Keeneys that were very important to the game of football here in Frederick County, and Josh looks like he's maintaining the name very well.
88 yards for Keeney on 4 carries. Josh Keeney again. Breaks a lot of tackles. And finally it takes 3 Cougars to get him down. A fumble, but I believe they're going to say he was down.
He was, I think the whistle's going to blow that play dead. Wow, you got to like the determination. We talk about Catoctin's determination. You love the determination of the Middletown Knights, and particularly Josh Keeney really keeping those legs churning that time. Up, down, up, down, up, down, and just kind of pulls his way to that first down.
So Keeney already over the 100-yard mark for the 3rd straight week. 103 yards on 5 carries.
Wow.
So he's eclipsed the 100-yard rushing mark in each of the first 3 weeks. Not much there, as he's wrestled to the ground by number 58, Marcus Williams. Marcus, the cousin of Quinn Williams.
And a little bit of help that time from Ryan Nesbitt. Nesbitt, one of those many Cougars who goes both ways, but the thing with Ryan Nesbitt, he's not that big, Wack. He's maybe 150, 160 pounds, and he just kind of throws and hurls his body at anything and everything out there.
So 2nd down and 9 for Middletown from their own 40. Anderson fires across the middle, dropped. It was intended for Ryan Lewis. He had his hands on it, couldn't make the catch.
You saw Chris Anderson's gun that time, and very wicked. He can throw the ball very, very well. Again, love his size, 6'2", 210, 2-year starter. Got a lot of confidence out there, and really coming into his own. This is senior year at Middletown.
So big 3rd down play for the Knights. 3rd and almost 10 to go. And the play is stopped before its inception. A penalty marker down. 27.9 seconds left in the first quarter. Timeout call, no penalty, okay. Cougars stop the clock. With 27 seconds left in the first quarter, Middletown leads 7-0. First timeout burned by Catoctin as they go over to their sideline. Talk to Coach Williams.
I think Doug gets as much out of his pool of talent as anybody could expect to, and certainly as much as any coach in the county gets out of theirs. He does a great job. They don't have great numbers up here. They were telling us, Paul DeMars and the kids were talking about the fact that sometimes in practices, Jeff, they don't even have enough kids to really run play. So they have sort of half plays, if you will, and they put garbage cans up to take up positions on the field so that they know where people should be and get into the practice of hitting the hole right and executing and running their plays. So but things are looking up with regard to the numbers here. As I mentioned earlier, they had a very, very large turnout. I believe the largest in Coach Williams' tenure here. So people are getting excited about Cougar football, and why not? The kids work hard.
3rd down and 10. Anderson to the air, wide open. O'Leary, 30, 20. Dragged down from behind inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal Knights. Sam Kolcheski with a saving tackle.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Jack O'Leary, one of the real outstanding athletes in Frederick County, an outstanding football player and a receiver and a fine kicker. He's also a very good basketball player, and that time demonstrating his receiving ability. He just gets behind the secondary, and he's just waiting for the ball, and then again, it's just a foot race. But not before O'Leary tacks about another 20, 25 yards onto this play.
53 yards total on the reception. 1st and goal. Keeney inside the 5, a pickup of about 4 yards, and that'll be the final play of the first quarter. So Middletown is on the move again. They lead it 7-0 after 1 quarter. We'll be back with more high school football action in a moment.
Picture this. I'm a city guy.
Nothing. Middletown with the lead. 11:56 remaining in the first half, and O'Leary on to try the extra point. (14-0) Middletown. So O'Leary 2 for 2 with extra points. 2 touchdowns rushing for Josh Keeney. The first one was a 53-yard scamper. This one a little bit closer, 4 yards out. But it was set up by passing tonight.
Yeah, he is, but Keeney is having even a better time running the football. And here's the touchdown right off the right side, and a great big hole. Again, credit the offensive line play of Middletown, and Josh Keeney walks into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the night, and a 14-0 Middletown lead.
So he has 6 carries, 107 yards, and 2 TDs. 1 play into the second quarter.
That'd be my whole season's work, for my whole career.
That's a pretty good night.
Much less 1 quarter, but
Anderson was 69 yards passing in that first quarter.
And O'Leary with a couple of extra points, and that increases his lead in terms of kicking in the county. He now has 11 points kicking, 8 point afters, and the only guy with a field goal in Frederick County is Jack O'Leary.
Yeah, he had that last week, 20-yard field goal. So Middletown chewing up the yardage, 180 total yards on 15 plays. And the kick from the 16, Kolcheski working his way through the D, and Kolcheski is out across the 35-yard line. So Catoctin will have another opportunity. They had a big play in their last series, got the ball down to the 13-yard line, but couldn't advance any further, and turned the ball over on downs to Middletown.
Let me ask you a question. How did you know that Middletown had run 15 plays for 180 yards?
Because we have a statistician tonight.
And who might
a famous statistician.
And who might that statistician be?
Mr. Sheldon Sheeler.
The one, the only, that nobody does it better. Scholastic Sports' very own Sheldon Sheeler.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Had to wait for the appropriate time.
Well, you hit it right on the button.
What a nice email I got today from my good friend Sheldon, who said, hey, you guys need somebody to do stats tonight? I said, yeah, we can handle that. So our old buddy Sheldon is here keeping us honest, and I don't think anybody does it better. So
you're right. 2-yard run there by Nesbitt. 2nd down and 8 from the 38-yard line.
Talking about the stats, not the honesty, okay?
Yeah.
We're beyond help honest-wise.
Nesbitt close to a 1st down, and he got it with the extra effort.
Now, how did he squirt through there?
I don't know, but he's out to the 47, 1st down Cougars.
I don't know if we had this on the truck or not. I hope they got that. That was great. That was a terrific run by Ryan Nesbitt. You don't really get too excited about, 7-yard runs, but that was a great 7-yard run by Nesbitt to pick up the 1st down. Terrific run by Ryan.
So the Cougars offense seems to be working on all cylinders the last couple of plays. And another gaping hole off the left side. This is Vince Reaver, the sophomore, just called up from the JV team.
Yeah,
close to another 1st down.
We didn't know about Vince Reaver until about 1 minute before game time when we got some changes to the Catoctin schedule. They talk about this kid 30, Reaver. We said, what grade is he in? Tommy Sherrill said, oh, wait a minute, we got to think about that. And he's a sophomore, but can see why he's getting some PT because showing some good running ability on that play. We have oh, they're going to measure for 1st down. Okay, I was wondering what's going down here.
I would say he got it by a couple of inches.
Jeff, you're pretty good at this. It's early in the season, though. Let's see if Jeff Wachter. Oh, my goodness gracious. No one, that doesn't even count. No, even if with the telephone pole in the way,
I meant by a couple of feet.
Okay.
That pole there, that kind of. So 1st down, 2 straight 1st downs for the Cougs.
On the move.
Clock rolling, 10:47 left until the break. A 2-touchdown lead for Middletown. Thompson takes the pitch. Thompson going through the D.
Yes.
Another 1st down run.
Look at
and
this.
Showed some power as well. So Thompson with a big run for a 1st down again for the Cougars.
Jarrell Thompson among the county leaders in rushing, and you can see why. That's a great hole by the Cats up front. And Jarrell Thompson just doing a nice job of eating up some yards, and the Cougs have the ball control game working in their favor right now.
17 more yards for Thompson. So they're using a lot of different backs on this drive.
And they're doing a nice job, too, of firing off that line. Not as big, showing some quickness, and they're doing a very good job of hanging on to the football, not making any mistakes.
It's got to be Quinn Williams' turn soon. That's Nesbitt. Nesbitt broke free at the line of scrimmage. Got some extra yardage before he was tackled by David Hartel.
Hartel been pretty active here for the Knights this evening, in on a number of tackles. Once again, Nesbitt showing a propensity to kind of knife and slip and slide his way, into very narrow crevices, but coming out with some positive yards for the Cougars here. Nice running by Ryan.
3-yard gain on that last play by Nesbitt. 2nd down and 7. This is Thompson through the hole. Thompson close to a 1st down. Chris Fluke made the stop for Middletown with help from Will Gawler.
Yeah, Catoctin, not that there's any reason for these kids to be scared, okay, of their opponents, but they're clearly not scared, Jeff. They play with no fear. And they hit the holes hard, and Looks like we're going to measure again. So things like this kind of work to Catoctin's favor too. They're not deep. Gives them a little extra blow. They don't have to waste a timeout. Coach Williams
Got
probably.
this one again.
You're not calling this one.
I said a few inches.
Yeah, that don't count. That don't
Well,
count.
you said the last one didn't count, so my answer still carries over.
That doesn't count. You have to do this before they leave the sideline.
Oh, okay.
I'm not letting you get away with it when they're pulling the chain and putting the stick down. For
Well, in my
Pete's
mind,
sake.
I knew it was a
I
first
could
down.
call that one. My
I don't know.
gosh.
We'll have to see.
You're probably right about
We'll
that.
give you a chance later. First
You
down for the
make
Cougs.
the call, right?
Yes. Catoctin on the move. Nesbitt. So they found some room in the middle there. A couple more yards for Nesbitt as he pushes close to the 10.
Well, Moser involved from his linebacker position. Brooks, the leading receiver in Frederick County, and also very active on the defensive side of the football for Middletown.
Second down and 7. Nesbitt with Quinn Williams in front of him. Nesbitt down at the 12. A gain of a couple.
Hey, Jeff, just to tag on something that you had commented early in the first quarter, Quinn Williams has not run the football very much here this evening, which is a little surprising given the fact that he is the leading rusher for the Cats coming into this game, but the fact that Thompson and Nesbitt are running the ball well allows Williams to block, and that's probably one of the reasons why the other two guys are picking up some yards.
Well, they're softening them up with the quicker backs, and then I bet you later on Quinn's going to see the ball a little bit more.
I would think so.
Thompson bangs his way down to the 5-yard line. First and goal.
Again, Jarrell Thompson really just picking up 4 and 5 and 6 yards and more on each and every carry, and hitting the hole very quickly, and but being very wise in his choosing of hole. You know, one thing to remember about Nesbitt, I was just thinking on that last pitch, don't forget Nesbitt, as you mentioned, is the backup quarterback. It looks like to me that's a play that Catoctin, if they wanted to throw out of, could, with Nesbitt on the option pass to the outside.
Williams this time, and Quinn plunges all the way near the goal. So you soften them up with the quick backs, and then you give it to the power guy straight ahead.
Well, Williams is a big guy by Catoctin standards, given that he's about 2'5", 210. He's bigger than many of their linemen.
Second and goal, or about the 1.5-yard line. Penalty marker down. Williams got it again, but
I think
it's going to go against the Cougars.
looked like a little motion that time.
So that'll be very costly. That'll move it back to the 6.
It is costly, and you know, as we had talked about earlier, Walk, the importance of Catoctin staying away from mistakes. In this case, penalties, and that can hurt you. It hurt Middletown in the first quarter, took them out of scoring position, and certainly making the chore much more difficult for the Cats right now.
So second down and goal from the 6 now. A little tougher task for Catoctin now.
That short field to work with makes it difficult. This
Pitch to Thompson.
This kid didn't need
Thompson barrels down to the 1, so he got the 5 yards back.
very determined running by Jarrell Thompson. And Jarrell, you know, the Ravens need a running back. Maybe him, he and Keeney could compete, because they're both running NFL style here tonight, aren't they?
They are. 3rd and 1. Thompson, and he's stacked up. Didn't fool Middletown at all. Kyle Swanson and Chris Fluck.
Well, they wasn't much of a hole there to begin with, and then Fluck and Swanson closed the gap, and Jarrell Thompson was sort of stuck in no man's land. He didn't know whether to kind of cut and bust through or try to get to the outside. He chose trying to go through, but too many white knights there to stop him.
So 4th down, they'll go for it from the 1. The pitch to Nesbitt. He's in. Touchdown, Cougars. So Catoctin gets on the board and cuts the lead to 14-6. And they took some time off the clock, down to 5:40 remaining in the half. And the Cougars trail Middletown by 8.
Yeah, it's about a good six-minute drive, and overcame a penalty and stuck it in the end zone. So nice drive for the Cougars.
6 minutes and 16 seconds on the drive. And the extra point is good. So the Cougars cut the lead in half. It's now 14-7, the kick by Marcus Williams. 13 plays, 64 yards for Catoctin. That's the kind of game we knew they would play. That ball control, work time off the clock, and then when you get a touchdown, it makes it even better.
There's the pitch to Nesbitt. Again, not much of a hole, but Ryan Nesbitt, although as I mentioned, not a big kid, but obviously very strong. He took a shot to the shoulder that time. A lot of guys would go right down. Nesbitt able to keep those legs under him and plowed his way into the end zone for the score. And your point's well taken, Jeff, the importance of ball control, eating up the clock, keeping that potent Middletown offense off the field and allowing the Cougars to methodically march down the field and pick up this touchdown and certainly just get themselves immediately back into the game at 14-7.
So the Cougars did it all with the running game on that last drive, mostly with Thompson and Nesbitt. 64 yards total on the ground on that last drive. Marcus Williams set to kick off. Back deep, O'Leary. Fumble. And Middletown recovered, number 42.
And I don't see a 42, so the Phantom 42 for the Knights. Able to retrieve the loose ball and maintain possession for Middletown to start this drive.
So Middletown will have it at the 26-yard line. So Catoctin was 64 yards rushing that last drive. They had only 18 yards rushing in their first 2 drives combined. Keeney in the grasp of big number 52, Brandon Jessup. So Keeney with only a 3-yard gain on that play. He has over 100 in the game, 110 yards for Keeney.
One of the
7 carries.
One of the few times tonight that Keeney hasn't hit double digits when he's touched the football.
2nd down and 7 for the Knights. Anderson to the air. Incomplete. Intended for David Hartel. It'll bring up 3rd down. Now, if the Cougars can stop them here, Jay, they've got some time to maybe tie this game before halftime.
Well, then they're taking a timeout here to do just that, Jeff. They want to try to stop Middletown on this big 3rd down play and then have enough time to methodically move down the field as they did in the last series.
4:59 left until halftime. So plenty of clock for the Cougars, but they have to stop them first.
And
Middletown has had some quick strikes, long runs by Keeney, a long pass play from Anderson to Jack O'Leary. That's how they've got their 2 touchdown runs by Keeney, set up by those long plays. And now the Knights need a big play on 3rd down.
well, they're quite capable, needless to say. Again, a very talented offensive team, lots of great players at the important skill positions in that huge offensive line that gives them the time to do the things they'd like to do. And young Mr. Anderson gets a shot now to go for the important third down.
3rd down and 7. Only one receiver in the play. It's a handoff, a counter play. O'Leary tries to cut it back, and he's cut down short of the 1st down. Nesbitt, Williams, and Adelsberger combining for the stop.
Well, wasn't that a great play by Nesbitt that time, because I think he was on an island by himself. Had he missed this tackle, look at this. It's just Nesbitt and O'Leary, and Jack gives him a good juke. But Ryan Nesbitt wraps him up, and going to be close enough that we have to measure. Jeff Wachter, you make
well, I said
the
it
call.
was short.
Look at this. Mid-season form. Fourth and a foot. What do you do, Jeff?
Punt.
So punt team's coming out. Cats hold.
They don't want Middletown doesn't want Catoctin to get back into this game and tie it before the half.
How much time we have left on the clock? I'm sort of hidden back here in the corner.
4:50.
So plenty of time. Plenty of time.
So Anderson, the punter, remember, he's the QB.
I think they'll be kicking this time. And Chris got a pretty good piece of it.
Fair catch called for at the 30-yard line by Sam Kolcheski. So Catoctin 70 yards away from tying it, and they'll have plenty of time to operate. A 64-yard drive in their last possession, culminated by a touchdown run by Nesbitt from 2 yards out. Officials marked this one at the 31. See if the Knights can make some adjustments defensively to try to stop this Cougar running attack. Quinn Williams for a yard. We haven't seen Quinn that much. Gets the carry there, and he's stopped by Ryan Cutsail.
Well, I think in large part because it's a little easier to run outside the tackles than inside against Middletown. They have such a huge size advantage. It's tough for the Cougars to just fire out and manhandle the interior of that line. So they've had more luck going outside than inside, or at least with the threat of going outside and then sort of coming back against the grain.
2nd down and 9. The pitch to Nesbitt. He's hit head on and buried for a loss. Cutsail in the middle of the pack there again.
Well, that's the kind of very ferocious hitting that you're used to seeing if you watch the Middletown Knights play defense year over year. I don't know that anybody does it collectively any better than Middletown. Maybe Urbana, you know, since they've come on the scene, but they're sort of in a class by themselves, so
right.
it seems. But Tim Ambrose has always done a wonderful job coaching defense at Middletown, and a lot of that's because of the great hitting that these kids do.
3rd and long for Catoctin. And stopped behind the line is number 30, Reaver.
Yeah, Jeff, I think the Middletown defense is a little angry right now. You know, probably got a little bit of a talking to on the sideline after that long touchdown march, and they've come out here determined on this series.
So Staub made the initial hit and then got help from Cutsail.
So Middletown gets the ball back, again with
Ben Nelson.
reasonable time in which to do something with it. Looks like they're going to, they got everybody up, maybe going for the block.
O'Leary the only one deep. And they got the block. So Middletown will have it inside the Catoctin 30. They had 10 men on the line, and they got the block.
And the defense for Middletown. Look at this. I don't know who got it. That's, gosh, he was at 41, maybe. Aaron Thompson,
Aaron
perhaps.
Thompson, yeah.
Tough to tell, but lots of guys were around the ball, and gives the Knights an excellent chance here to score. Tack on to this lead.
So Middletown on the move. Keeney to the 26. 2:20 remaining until halftime. Gain of 3.
James Higgins, 77 for Catoctin, just refused to let Keeney go. Not before Josh picked up a couple of tough yards in the middle, but
clock still rolling, under 2 minutes to play until the intermission.
time to go up top maybe.
2nd and 8. Anderson will do just that. His pass is caught. Ryan Lewis made the catch. Just short of a first down, it appears.
Very pretty catch by Lewis that time. Diving play and excellent reception by Lewis. Lewis is a 6'3", 175-pound senior.
1:23 left on the clock. It's 3rd and less than a yard from the 19-yard line. Quarterback sneak. Anderson twists and turns and gets the first down at the 17. And now the clock is stopped at 1:13.
Not a bad play when you consider Anderson a pretty big guy at 205 pounds. Just want to pick up that first down and keep the chains moving here.
And the clock is back on the move. Down to 105. 14-7 Knights. They try to add to it. 2 receivers on the right side.
Maybe Moser time. Oh, going to be come back. It was Moser getting off the line fast. I bet he was involved in that play.
Illegal procedure will move it back 5 to the 22-yard line. So Middletown had a 1st and goal at the 6 or 7-yard line earlier, and a holding penalty moved them back 15 yards, and they ended up punting. So hopefully for them, penalties won't hurt this drive like it did that one. 40 seconds, clock running. Anderson fires, incomplete.
Once again going for Lewis, but good, very nice defense that time by Catoctin.
Sheldon reports that all penalties, Jay, have come in the red zone. All the penalties in this game inside the 20. That's not where you want them.
He's the only one that would know that.
Keeps some great stats.
Yeah, he does.
Anderson has time, looks, fires down the middle, incomplete. Couldn't quite hang on. John Boyle with 31.9 ticks left.
And I guess Middletown will have one more shot at this. And if they come up short, we'll probably see Jack O'Leary go for field goal, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Jack O'Leary maybe up top this time.
Anderson fires for the end zone for O'Leary. Oh no, he dropped it. O'Leary had it and couldn't hang on. You had the play called right, Jay. O'Leary just couldn't put the handle on it.
Boy, I bet Jack won't drop too many of those. That was a beautifully thrown ball, a nice pass route by O'Leary, and they did everything right but catch it. Look at this, nice. Anderson maintains his position and just drops it in there perfectly, and Jack O'Leary not able to bring it in. He'll catch that ball more times than not.
It'll be 4th down. We'll see if O'Leary will try a field goal.
I like that pass by Chris that time because he was obviously having some problems getting his balance out there. It looked like one of his back foot slipped under him, but he was able to maintain his balance well enough to deliver a perfectly thrown ball, and Knights just not able to execute that time. So 4th down, Tim Ambrose and company have a decision to make. Do you take another shot at it? They could get a first down without a touchdown.
They have about 15 yards for a first down. It would be a 39-yard field goal, and not much time. 26.3 remaining.
That's the problem. I think maybe they're gonna
O'Leary time.
Yeah, take a whack at a field goal, which will be how far?
39.
39 yards.
Well, he's putting it right down on the 30, so it would be a 40-yard attempt.
And that's a pretty good kick by certainly by high school standards. But again, Jack O'Leary has a strong foot. The only player in Frederick County, at least coming into this week of play, with a field goal to his credit.
Had a 20-yarder last week against FSK in a 45-6 win. This one from 40 yards. The hold is down. The kick is no good. Good effort by Jack O'Leary. Missed from 40 yards out. So Catoctin will get it back. They dodge another one, Jay. So with 21.5 seconds left, they're only down by 7.
Well, these Cats have a few lives, I would say, Jeff, and have used a couple of them here this evening, but certainly are very much in this contest, only trailing by 1 touchdown here late in the second quarter. I would think Coach Williams and company would be quite content to get into this locker room.
You don't want to turn over here.
That's right. I imagine we'll just go down on the ball here.
So down to a knee goes Adelsberger, and that'll be the final play of the first half. So 2 touchdown runs by Josh Keeney gave Middletown a 14-0 lead after O'Leary added the PATs. Nesbitt had a 2-yard run to culminate a 64-yard Catoctin drive. 14-7 Middletown leads Catoctin at halftime. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Frederick, I watch Sidelines with Jay Combs.
Picture this, the Richards triplets, all thinking about college, all dreaming big dreams. Can you picture it? I can. I'm a nationwide agent, and our life insurance and financial services can help the Richards protect their future and help fund college for their kids. Needless to say, that makes them 3 times as happy.
Nationwide, on your side. To improve the picture of your life, contact Bruce Finch and Sharon Davidson in Frederick and Chester Zintz Jr. in Thurmont.
$14 minutes and 20 seconds. Middletown with only 9 minutes and 40 seconds. That's how Catoctin's been able to stay in the game. Also, they've stopped Middletown on drives in the red zone on 2 occasions.
Yeah, they've been the beneficiary of a penalty and then the drop pass down here in the tail end of the second quarter. But the Knights, nevertheless, have picked up this lead and primarily on the ground, 123 yards rushing on 16 carries. And 77 yards through the air, 3 for 8 for Chris Anderson. And of course, Keeney picking up 114 of those 123 yards for the Knights. The Cats, 86 yards on the ground, 64 yards in passing, and I guess most of those came on that 1 pass completion, right, to Nesbitt in the first quarter, 150 yards total offense for Catoctin, but the name of their game has been ball control.
This is O'Leary. And O'Leary is taken down at the 32-yard line by Thompson. So that's where Middletown will start. O'Leary had a kickoff return last week of 85 yards. That time he was contained. So Middletown's offense back on the field. O'Leary will come off the field and see what the Knights can do. They had a couple of big runs by Keeney and a long pass play to O'Leary, so they weren't on the field that much. This is Keeney, and he's dropped. Reaver finished him off.
Whoa.
After Williams made the initial hit.
Whoa! Catoctin comes out here all fired up in the third quarter defensively, and Reaver, the sophomore, getting his first start, and of course Quinn Williams, the senior, who's one of the leaders on this team, wrapping up Keeney on that play. Watch it again. It's just a nice effort by first Quinn Williams and then the help from Reaver to bring down a tough running back in Josh Keeney.
Keeney again, and he's taken to the turf in the grasp of Marcus Williams and James Higgins. So Catoctin's defense has figured out how to stop Keeney, at least on the first 2 plays. And have you got that Keeney chart figured out yet?
The Keeney family tree?
Yeah.
We think we do. Bing is the grandfather.
Bing.
Okay.
It's all Bing at halftime.
Coach of the Falcons. Rich is the father of Josh.
Right.
All right. And then Jake and Randy are the brothers of Rich, the uncle to Josh, the son of Bing.
That's right. And they're all here tonight.
And 3 of them, absent Bing, played for Tim Ambrose at Middletown.
Anderson unleashes the pass, completed to Ryan Lewis at the 48. First down for Middletown.
Excellent throw by Anderson that time. This is another pass right on the money. This time to Lewis. Let's watch it again. Little play action. No rush. Look at Anderson deliver a strike, and that is a extremely well thrown ball, and credit Lewis with getting the feet down inbounds, Jeffrey. That's just a great execution by Middletown.
So Anderson gets him a first down with his arm. Lewis with a good reception. This is Harshman running hard down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 11, another first down.
I think Chris Anderson, I believe he was 3 for 8 in the first half, and probably I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris open it up a little more here in the 3rd quarter. As you mentioned earlier, it seems like Catoctin doing a little better job defending the run, although that time certainly Scott Harshman picked up some positive yards running the football.
But Anderson 3 for 8. He had a couple of drop passes, including what should have been a touchdown. Lewis on the move. Harshman again, nowhere to go, stopped at the line of scrimmage. Reaver has been in on a lot of plays tonight defensively. He's only a sophomore.
I like that name though, Vince Reaver. That sounds like a football player to me. I like that name. I certainly like the way this young fella is playing football here this evening for the Catoctin Cougars.
There's Quinn Williams, number 8.
I like that guy too. He's a great kid and a solid leader for the Cats.
Second down and 10. Keeney for 4. Nesbitt stopped him. He worked his way down to the 36. It'll set up 3rd down and 6.
The big Brian DeMoss and Terry Palmer downfield for the Knights that time, trying to help free up the running backs for Middletown. They do an awfully nice job of it. That's a huge and talented offensive line for Tim Ambrose.
So big 3rd down play. Anderson with a play fake. Looking deep. Lewis
Did he do
with
it
another
again?
catch inside the 20. What a play.
My goodness. I don't know, Jeff. Looks like that one
no,
might
they
be.
wiped it off. Okay.
Yeah, it was close. We need to get those passes on this side of the field so Matt Diggs can zoom in there and catch it. But let's watch it again. Once more, Anderson, plenty of time to throw. And this is right where it needs to be. And Lewis just not able to get both feet down inbounds. Credit Sam Klucheski with some nice pass defense that time.
So 4th down, a punting situation. Anderson to kick. He'll angle to the sidelines again.
That's a great
And
kick.
they might be able to get that one. Official right there, touchback. So it'll go to the 20, so they lose 20 yards. Nearly had that one pinned inside the 1.
I think it was Chris Fluke credit that time with almost down in the ball, and had he been successful, boy, the Cats would have really been pinned back. Let's watch it again. Anderson just kind of pooches it, gets the favorable bounce, and now it's just a foot race. And I think this is Fluke desperately trying, and it just rolled into the end zone before
Good call by the official.
Yeah, it was right on the money.
Adelsberger hands off to Williams.
No go.
A loss of a couple of yards after the tackle was made by Terry Palmer. Be second down and 12.
Middletown off to a good start in the Valley Conference this year, 2-0. Smithsburg and Williamsport. Of course, Williamsport barely defeated the Cats last week, both undefeated in the conference as well.
Pitch back to Reaver, and he's decked all the way back at the 12.
Ryan Cutsale, a guy whose name you've called out a number of times here this evening, in on that stop for the Knights. Number 72. Let's watch it again. Here's the pitch. But look at Cutsale. Almost gets there at the time the ball does to number 30 Reaver, and Cutsale brings him down.
So Catoctin moving in the wrong direction. It'll be third down and 18 from the 12-yard line.
That first, Middletown has defensively been coming hard here the last couple of series.
Little deception. This is Thompson. Didn't deceive Middletown too much. Maybe a yard gain on the play. So the Cougars will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Matt Staub and Brooks Moser in on the stop for Middletown. So you're right, Jeff. They're going to have to punt from deep. Now, don't forget, Middletown blocked the punt earlier. I don't know if they'll go for a block here, or it looks like maybe they're going to go for a return. They got a couple of return guys back.
Reavers in punt formation. High snap. Brings it down. Good looking boot. O'Leary from the 43. He's headed backwards. Good blocking. And O'Leary works his way down to the 37-yard line. So just a couple of yards on the return, but a lot of running for O'Leary as he tried to find the hole. Good coverage by the Cougars.
That was a pretty good kick by Reaver, and a nice return by Jack O'Leary. Looked like Jack actually ran south a lot that time before he got a chance to run north, but finally turned it into some positive yards for the Knights. We're going to do a
Harshman.
wow.
Harshman.
Oh my!
What a motor! Close to a first down.
Oh my! We talked about Scott defensively. What a great hitter he is. He's showing he can dish it out offensively as well. Solid running by Scott Harshman. That's determination, Jeff. He just did not want to go down.
And he got the first down.
That's a pretty strong, hard-running combination back there with Harshman and Keeney, is it not?
Yeah, 13 yards on that play. Harshman again, he's gone. Looking for a block, got it, touchdown.
Bang.
Harshman, a 24-yard run. Middletown now leads it 20-7.
Holy cow.
They score quickly.
Scott Harshman really running hard on those two plays and takes Middletown just about instantly into the end zone. Tim Ambrose talking to Scott, and whatever he's saying, Harshman is understanding.
O'Leary is now 3 of 3 on extra points. It's 21-7. So the Knights open it up a little bit. Get a little bit of breathing room with 6:27 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, let's watch it again. Holy cow, I don't think anybody touched him. And he's got that long, loping stride, and he will hit you hard. And didn't even have to hit anybody on that run into the end zone. A nice run by Scott Harshman. Again, credit that nice blocking up front to the Middletown Knight offensive line, which freed Scott to do his thing in a 21-7 lead.
So 3 rushing touchdowns from Middletown this evening. 2 by Keeney and now 1 by Harshman.
Well, they had 250 yards offense in the first half. Is that right? No, 200 yards offense in the first half. So they've added to that count on that particular drive. And Jeffrey, we talk a lot about the importance of field position. That time it was very much in evidence, getting the good field position. And then in 2 plays, getting the touchdown.
Well, Middletown set it up with the punt. Cougars had a couple of plays where they had negative yardage, so they had to punt from the goal line, and Middletown takes advantage of it with a short, quick drive.
And now field position may come into play in a more positive way for Catoctin, because they're going to take over in very good field position at about their 35. So
Kick went out of bounds. That's illegal procedure, so they'll take it at the 35. First down Cougars, so a little bit better operating position than on their last possession.
I know one of our good buddy Sheldon's theories, and I think he's absolutely right, for the success of Urbana the past few years has been their kicking game, which has always given them great field position and pretty much put them in a situation where they only had to go about 50 yards every time to score. And if you look back at particularly the Josh Brown era, where he punted the ball so well, I think that's absolutely true. So it shows the importance of kicking and field position.
This is Thompson on the toss. No gain. So he ran into the middle of the Middletown line.
Well, second down and I guess 10 yards, Jeff. And I think Middletown, that defense is really starting to pick things up, getting very aggressive on the line of scrimmage and stopping Catoctin from getting past them, getting into that second wave.
Nesbitt had a little crease.
Not much.
For about 3 yards. So the defense is stiffened for Middletown. Catoctin started to enjoy some success running the ball in that second quarter, but in this half, not much doing.
Once again, you see Moser, who's really doing a great job defensively here this evening, popping people everywhere. One of the team captains on this squad, along with Chris Dillon and Kyle Godwin. They are the tri-captains for the Middletown Knights.
Third down and 7. And Nesbitt is dropped back at the 35.
And there's our guy Cutsale again, who has been
He's
all over the ball as well. So 3 and done for the Cougars. You know, they did such a nice job in the first half of eating up that clock, and they have not been able to do it here in the third quarter, as Middletown has been dominant defensively. And once more, the punt, which Middletown has an opportunity here to get good field position. Let's see where that ends up.
Reaver unleashes a great kick. And a crease on the right side. John Boyle is knocked out by the kicker Reaver at the 35.
I think Reaver almost out-kicked his coverage that time.
37-yard return by John Boyle.
Johnny Boyle, 5'9", 150-pound junior, made the most out of it, showing some good speed, got to the outside, found the convoy, and really did a good job of advancing this ball. Look where Boyle gets the ball. I mean, there's nobody around. And he does a nice job of getting to the right side of the field. There's some good blocking by Middletown. 32.
O'Leary, 3 really good blocks.
O'Leary,
there.
yeah, and a couple other guys we couldn't identify, but that's what freed up Boyle to do his thing down the right side. So there's the good field position once more for the Middletown Knights. Let's see if they can take advantage of it once again. Does Anderson go up top, Jeff?
Stick with the ground game.
Nope.
Keeney.
Don't need to. Don't need to.
Inside the 10, down to the 5, rolls Josh Keeney.
Wow.
A 30-yard run. He's up to 144 yards in the game.
That's some power football. And, you know, you got to wonder at, particularly you look for this in the second half, I guess, and certainly as the game wears on, does Catoctin undermanned, undersized in particular, do they get a little tired? And does that begin to take begin to take some effect? And surely in the last 2 series, Catoctin just a little slow to the ball.
Keeney, touchdown. Well, Josh Keeney has his third TD rushing tonight. This one from 5 yards out. It's now 27-7 Middletown with 3:54 remaining, third quarter.
They have made some adjustments at halftime, I would say.
A few.
And whatever those adjustments were the exact right tweaks that the Knights needed to do, because they have just pounded this ball here in the third quarter, particularly these last two possessions.
O'Leary is now 4 for 4. It's 28-7.
And we got a flag down. Let's see.
They have to re-kick.
Talking to Catoctin.
They will have to re-kick. Illegal procedure. Middletown.
So if Jack O'Leary's going to keep his consecutive point after string intact here this evening, it's going to be from a little further back.
5 yards further.
He had that one high in the air that time, didn't he?
That was long enough for an extra 5 yards. See what he can do here. He got it anyway. 28-7 Middletown. Keeney with a touchdown run.
Watch it again. Josh plowing into the end zone, but again, it was really the fine offensive line play by Middletown that made that touchdown possible. Great interior blocking at the point of contact. And Josh Keeney doing his thing, his third touchdown of the night.
So 3:54 left in the third quarter.
You see Tim Ambrose there to the left. Got to feel a little better now about the Knights here with a 28-7 lead. It was nip and tuck there in the first half. They jumped out to a 7-0 and 14-0 advantage, and then Catoctin scored to cut it 14-7.
Well, they had a point to prove coming into tonight. They had beaten Catoctin 16 straight until last year. It was a 15-9 victory last season at Middletown for the Cougars.
That was
So Middletown wanted revenge tonight, and they finally put a little separation up there on the scoreboard, now leading 28-7.
As we talked about in the pregame, they the first 3 games out of the chute this year were teams that defeated them last year, and they wanted to square that score real quick.
Reaver is drilled.
Who was that? Who was that? Wow. I think, was that number, let's say number 40, I believe, Jeffrey.
Kyle Swanson.
Hey, baby, we are a long way from the field. And when you can hear pads and got headsets on, when you hear pads popping up here, you got to know that's a pretty good whack by Swanson. Let's watch it again. Actually, the PA guy is saying somebody else, Jeff. Let's take a peek again. You got the great eyes. I don't. No, that's Swanson.
Swanson.
Yeah.
Yep. Adelsberger throwing deep. Incomplete. That play worked before, maybe holding. He was looking for Nesbitt. Back on the coverage, John Boyle.
This is probably going to be defensive pass interference. I guess the issue here is, and let's watch the call, and it's going to go against Middletown. The issue is, would he have had a chance to catch the ball? It looked like it was pretty well overthrown, but in the official's opinion, maybe the defense was prohibiting the receiver from potentially getting to the ball, so they throw the hanky and call the defensive pass interference, which is an automatic first down for the Cougars. So a break for the Cats.
So they have it at the 26-yard line. 36-yard line.
Adelsberger's got a pretty good arm, don't you think?
He's looked good on a couple of those deep passes.
Yeah, he's aired it out right well.
Nesbitt cuts there in the middle of the pack again to make the stop at the 40.
And
Gain of 4.
Ryan Nesbitt again showing the ability to take a little and make a lot, because there was not much of a hole there, but Nesbitt made the most of it, as Catoctin is prone to do. They make the most of what they have.
Cougars up to the line. They trail by 3 scores. Adelsberger deep right side, incomplete. Intended for number 9, Sam Kolcheski.
Nice defense that time by Ryan Lewis. Kolcheski didn't have a shot at that ball, mainly because Lewis was defending him very closely.
So 3rd down and about 6.
Let's watch it again. Once more, Adelsberger showing a pretty good arm. Ball well overthrown, but again, Lewis in very good defensive position.
Pitch to Thompson. And he's stacked up. Swanson in the middle of the pack. And Catoctin will have to punt.
Well, another great defensive stand by Middletown, absent the defensive pass interference. 3 and done for the Cougars, and let's see again if Middletown's able to do something with this punt and end up with good field position.
Reaver with a kick. Boyle from the 30. Boyle breaks free.
There's some popping out there by the Cats. 55. Vance Click.
Click with the hit.
But another great return that time by Boyle. Gives Middletown real nice field position to start this drive.
Looks like a marker though, Jay. He's going to move it back.
We got one coming back. Are they calling something against Middletown?
Wow.
Maybe
From
a
the spot.
block from behind a clip, yeah.
All the way back to the 25-yard line, so they lose about 35 yards. 27-yard lines where they mark it.
Well, Middletown has had not a whole lot of penalties here tonight on either side, but the ones that Middletown has incurred have been pretty serious penalties. That holding and the took away a potential touchdown, and this one takes away a long run back.
Keeney. Last forward out to the 35, a gain of 8.
Well, Keeney's rested
Keeney.
now, right? So, because Harshman ran the last couple of times, that Josh says, hey, don't forget about me. I want to go for the deuce here tonight on the ground.
161 yards rushing for Josh Keeney. Got plenty of time to get for that, go for that 200. 1:30 left in the 3rd quarter. Harshman got the first down. And Harshman just keeps moving. He's out to the 45, a gain of 10.
He's a hard runner, but I think Catoctin just maybe a little bit tired out there right now because there's a lot of arm tackles and just tough to keep up that kind of play that you need to against this big, tough, physical Middletown team.
Keeney gains 3 yards.
They won't quit, though.
Quinn Williams tackled him.
Care what the score is, I don't care how things are moving, they aren't going to quit. So if you think they're just going to lay down, roll over, think again, because that's not the way they do it up here in Thurmont.
Keeney for about 6. That may have been the final play of the quarter, down to 25 seconds. Middletown leading 28-7. It was only 14-7 at the half. The Knights with 2 rushing touchdowns this quarter, one by Harshman, and Keeney ran for his 3rd. See if they get this playoff final seconds. And the quarter will expire before they get another play going. At the end of 3, it's Middletown 28, Catoctin 7. We're back in a minute.
Where can you find all the latest information on entertainment, events, and local personalities in Frederick? Check out Cityscape, Cableton's newest offering. Cityscape is Frederick County's lifestyle journal. We've combined the best elements of some of your favorite Cableton shows into one super package. Every week we'll show you the best Frederick has to offer in leisure time activities and meet some of our most interesting citizens. It all comes together on Cityscape, Mondays and Thursdays at 5:30, 7:30, and 10:30. Check your local listings for additional days and times.
Picture this. Ann Smith driving to see her sister in Texas, where everything's bigger, including the... Ann's first call was to me, her nationwide agent, because she knows I'm always here to help. You're covered.
Well, yeehaw!
Call someone who cares. A nationwide agent. Nationwide. On your side.
Picture Nationwide on your side. Contact Richard Brown in Frederick, Deborah Harker in Mount Airy, Paul Brunner in Walkersville, and Lori Zentz in Thurmont.
Because the situation was not taken care of in time?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not at all. Most people, that's not true.
Okay. Now, what about treatment? You use different treatment for various types of impairment, right? Mm-hmm. Now, suppose there's impairment in both ears. Will one hearing aid or transplant take care of the whole situation?
Go ahead.
Okay. One hearing aid, wearing one hearing aid if you have a hearing loss in both ears, is the same as having one eyeglass.
Middletown has it at the 32-yard line. Harshman and Keeney, what a combination running the ball. Over 230 yards on the ground between the two of them, and we still have another quarter.
A dominating performance by Middletown here in the second half.
Here's Keeney. Keeney down to the 15-yard line.
Middletown a touchdown away from a running clock in high school. Well, no, wait a minute, take that back. 2 touchdowns away. 35-point advantage for one team over the other. You get a running clock. Middletown well on their way to achieving that here with their dominance in the second half, led by the 1-2 rushing tandem of Josh Keeney and Scott Harshman. There you see Keeney.
So Keeney with 186 yards rushing. If he totes this one in, he'll have over 200.
Of course, probably the biggest statistic of that third quarter, Walk, was Catoctin's running 9 plays for a -1 yard. That's total dominance by the Middletown defense.
The Cougars' biggest play of that quarter, a 15-yard penalty against Middletown. It's the only positive yardage they got in that quarter. Anderson looks to throw, right side, touchdown, Brooks Moser.
Nice catch by Moser.
Leading receiver in the county, adds to his stats. His first score of the night, 34-7.
That's another lovely throw by Chris Anderson and a super catch by Brooks Moser. That's when Timmy Ambrose likes that. That's just a great catch. And again, a super throw, and once more Chris with plenty of time to do it. We get another look at that. That was NFL like. Excellent play.
So Leary on again. He's 4 for 4.
That's his best kick of the night.
5 out of 5, 35-7 Middletown. 11-14 remaining in the game.
Jack's hit all his extra points this evening, but some of them have been sort of wounded eagles. That one he flat out nailed. Excellent point after by Jack O'Leary, and once again a wonderful pass from Chris Anderson to Brooks Moser, and good enough. We get to see it again. Thanks, Noel. Look at this. That's just a nice catch by Moser. Wow, great play by Middletown. Look at Tim Ambrose.
Yeah, they definitely made some adjustments Ambrose and company at halftime.
Yeah, they really did, because they have taken it to Catoctin offensively and defensively here in the second half. Of course, Tim's kind of used to doing that. I think this is what, year number 28, I believe.
And he's 21-6 against Catoctin.
Yeah, last year, you know, Middletown goes what, 6-4, I guess. A lot of schools would kill for a 6-4 year.
That was his worst year.
At Middletown, that was not what they looked to do. Although I think they went 6-1 down the stretch, and
yeah, they started out 0-3.
And they're got things straightened out toward the end of the season, and certainly has carried over here in the early part of the season, looking like the old dominant Middletown teams of old.
Nesbitt from the 16. Corralled at the 24.
So let's see what Doug Williams and the Cougars can do. Justin Adelsberger, their junior quarterback, has shown the ability here a few times this evening to throw particularly the long pass very well. And they are clearly in a throw-in situation, Jeffer, with trailing by 4 touchdowns here in the fourth quarter.
Got 2 receivers in the play, which you don't see very often for the Cougars. Basically a running team. Timeout, Middletown.
Middletown didn't have enough players on the field.